Most films that are widely distributed and well received are first and second cinema. First cinema being Hollywood, it's cinema that responds to the aspirations of big capital. It does not change or move the culture, it is there to maintain it. Second cinema is European art house cinema. It's one of our tour, which expresses the filmmaker, so it's more existential, nihilistic, and stylistically radical, but lacks the urgency and message to make second cinema revolutionary due to its staunch individualism. Some examples are this French New Wave film, where Godard narrates his fears about the contemporary world. It's both socially and stylistically radical. And this Soviet Armenian art film, which is a biographical story told visually and poetically, but with very little dialogue. Third cinema is the cinema of liberation, a weapon to be used against the racist and capitalist system, often linked with national culture. It is the world, reality, and history. Frantz Fanon puts it best, describing second cinema as the stage where the native is disturbed and he decides to remember what he is. Third cinema is then the fighting phase. The native, after losing himself in the people and with the people, will shake the people. Third cinema was born in the 1960s due to the availability and accessibility of film cameras, much like other film industries we talk about in class. Some examples of third cinema are this Argentine film, noted for being a key part in the third cinema movement. The Hour of the Furnaces is a film of urgency, asking those who view it to act further beyond the pictures and to fight against neo-colonialism towards a revolution.
Esto no es solo la exhibición de un film, ni es tampoco un espectáculo. El film es el pretexto para el diálogo.
And this French-Senegalese film, based on a real-life incident. The film revolves around a black woman who was hired by a middle-class French woman to be a nanny, but is confused as she begins to work and is treated harshly and like a domestic servant. As well as this film, named after a working-class neighborhood in Angola, based on a novella that describes the cruelty of the Portuguese administration and the courage of ordinary Angolans during this colonial period. It's directed by a woman, and this film gives us a look into women's participation in revolutionary struggles. There are so many more. Third cinema is one that is a militant reaction against authoritarian oppression, most focusing specifically on neocolonialism. These films capture and represent the crude social and power structures and attempts to actively challenge these structures, but relies on the viewer to not be passive after watching. In our current age, we can see the remnants of third cinema in Nollywood. Nollywood has articulated opposition only without the explicit political stance like third cinema does. Some Nollywood films that address this is this film, shot straight to video, that focuses on a man who is struggling so hard he goes to a satanic cult and pledges loyalty to Lucifer via killing his wife. Of course, at the end he is forgiven for his sins and worships the evangelical Christians. And this movie, which is a story of a young man caught up in a crime experiencing gruesome repercussions, representing marginal positions, showing the perspective of the dispossessed and everyday people and their issues. While most write Nollywood off as not being worthy of studying or as a lesser form of cinema, we can see that Nollywood is doing something amazing by having a deliberate representational strategy of turning trash into a powerful political critique.